What is up, family? Welcome to the brand new channel, Bogus Journeys presents Frame Trapped. Title still a work in progress, but we are here. From this day forward, we're gonna be posting 3 to 4 times a week, and in 2 months, Bogus Journeys, a brand new season, will be every Sunday morning, also on this channel. Button check will still be the same thing. I'll post there daily. So please subscribe because we're starting from scratch. 0 monetization, 0 subscribers, and this thing doesn't work without your support. So please lock in. We'll see you here daily. Thank you for the love. Enjoy the episode. What is up, Frame Trap family? As promised, we have the much anticipated interview. You know, obviously we did one with Rooflemonger not too long ago. There was a lot of requests. There was a lot of requests in the comment section said, well, if you're gonna do one with him, you need to do one with Mike. You know what I'm saying? Because Mike is the other side of the coin. Of course, Clayton is involved as well, but Mike is here and Mike knows a lot about everything. So I thought it was only fair, right? So we also let Rooflemonger know during the interview that that's what we were going to do. So once again, big up to Dirrty Lo for joining us. Thank you, Dirrty Lo. I don't know why I always got to say that because it's his damn channel too, but I'm just used to it. So thank you, Dirrty Lo, for being here. And as promised, all the way from the other side of the pond, where it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, Mike Hollow. Thank you for joining us.
No, thanks for having me. It's nice to meet Dirty Lo finally. I think this is the first time we've met.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. It's a pleasure. I watch your channel. I enjoy your content, so I look forward to hear what you have to say. So I'm a fan of yours, so I'm glad we're able to meet. Again, wish it was better circumstances, you know, but I'm glad we're able to have a discussion and meet.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me here. I know, obviously, it was your first video, so I probably wasn't the way you guys wanted to start things. But I spoke to Ernesto before this. Yes. And like I'll say it here as well, just so everybody knows. I was really angry with the coverage of the situation, but I wasn't angry at you two. Like it wasn't like, oh fuck these guys sort of thing. It was more the topic was like quite sensitive, so I was annoyed of like how it was covered, but I wasn't like there was no like I'm going in there to start a fight with them. So I told Ernesto in the DMs that I wasn't coming in to fight. I was just coming in to sort of like push back on the things that Roofle said, and like to be honest with you, I only have a few questions for you guys regarding the whole thing. But it's mostly to push back on what Roofle was saying because he told a lot of fibs.
Of course.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, you know, I watched a coverage. I was working today, so I tried to listen to what I can, your video, and I didn't think that you were attacking us in video. I think you were being as fair and as biased as possible. So I wouldn't take any offense to anything you've said or done so far. So I'm cool, brother. We're cool. We get it.
Cool. All right. Well,
sorry, go on. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, no, I was just going to add to what you were saying. Like, yeah, we did talk previously quite a bit. So it's not like we're just jumping into this raw, you know what I'm saying? I do, you know, as a content creator, I've talked to Mike in the past. I think I jumped on his channel once when he was with Technicals. So we're familiar with each other. And I wanted to make sure we were good. Hell, I wanted to make sure we were good even after the first video, second video when we started talking. So just to let you guys know, this was not intended to be like, oh, now let's talk some shit. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to clear the air and give Mike a voice. So definitely go ahead and start it how you want.
Yeah, so I guess I'll give a bit of background on the situation because Rooflemonger, he kind of just says random things. He doesn't really substantiate anything. So he obviously, the main bulk of this is about Clayton. I spoke to Clayton before I came on here. He's unfortunately not in a good place right now. Like physically, he's quite unwell. So he couldn't join us right now, even if he wanted to. But I still think you guys should probably talk to him at some point. So my situation with Rooflemonger started back when the Mortal Kombat 1 DLC was coming out. And Rooflemonger was online like attacking people because they wanted MK characters in the game. Now, he told a lie in it was either his community post or on here. I can't remember exactly which one, but he basically said that I was like using his name for clicks before that. Anyone can fact check this. In that video that I made about Rooflemonger, I said, I watch his content. I think it's kind of cool. I just don't agree with this take. Obviously, Rooflemonger's not a fan of being criticized at all. And I guess he took that as an attack, even though I wasn't attacking him. And it sort of started from there. But my issue with him is not really that. Like, to be honest with you, his silly takes on games is not a big deal. It's just a video game at the end of the day. My issue with him is like what he's done with Clayton. Before I get into him, the reason that I was so annoyed with the coverage of the situation is that, and like I know when I spoke to Ernesto, you guys were saying that this channel is just for you guys to sort of shoot the shit, and it's kind of like in the same vein as Club Shay Shay.
Yeah.
But I think 9 times out of 10 that would be cool. And I'm not coming on here telling anyone how to do their job. I mean, Ernesto is way more successful than I'll probably ever be on YouTube. So I'm not coming on here like trying to puff out my chest or anything like that. But it was an unfortunate video to choose because of the kind of shit that's in the video. And I think where me and Clayton got really upset about it is that the video is 30 minutes long, but when you guys reacted to it in your first video, you only covered the first like 12 minutes. And the remaining part is the more serious part. And then it was like at that, I think the 43-minute mark, you guys brought up Clayton's illnesses, but it was kind of like glossed over. The main bulk of it was about Virtufighter. And a lot of people got the impression, because I got message from people saying, oh, like, is the beef over Virtufighter? And that's obviously when we were like, the beef is not about Virtufighter, to be honest. It's what Clayton, what Rufo did was stupid, but I'm not going to lose sleep because he wants to post leaked footage on his YouTube channel. It was just a point of contention. Yeah. So that was basically why me and Clayton got annoyed. And then we got more annoyed because when Rufo came on here, he said a lot of things that were verifiably untrue. And some of those receipts are in the video that like you guys were reacting to. And we were expecting you guys to not take our side. Like, I don't want anyone to take my side. I don't need anyone to take my side. And I don't need anyone to take Clayton's side. All I wanted was like, just ask him, well, if you're saying X, why is the receipt showing Y? And when that didn't happen, from our perspective, it looked like you were sort of giving him a get out of jail free card.
Yeah. So on my side, like I was saying earlier, is I knew, first of all, I didn't expect the interview to happen, right? And then I asked him what the structure was going to be, because he did seem kind of skittish, like he wasn't too sure. He even said some of his friends were like, you probably shouldn't do this, right? But he actually wanted to. He was very gung-ho, like, I want to say something. And I think he even said on the video, I have never apologized publicly. Didn't he say that, Rick? He said, I have never apologized publicly. So this is a big deal for me. I'm taking a step. Like, to him, he was looking at like, I'm actually progressing, I guess, in a way, right? So he was like, I've never done something like this. So when I asked him, what are you comfortable with? He said, just me and you, like me and him. And then he goes, well, if you want to have Dirrty Lo or your buddy, you could have him too. And I was like, okay, so no Mike and Clayton. And he was like, absolutely not. So I'm like, all right. So that, and then me and Mike just talked before that. Mike was going to sleep. And I was like, all right. So I messaged Mike. I can't remember if it was before or after, but I let him know what happened. And during the interview, I said, when do you want to do it? He was like, now, because I'm going to be busy for the next 2 days. And I was like, fuck, Rick, can you do it now? And Rick's freaking out like, fuck, I'll do it. Like, let's fucking wrap it. Because if we don't do it now, we're probably never going to get him. Let's be real. He's going to change his mind. Something else is going to happen. And he's going to be like, fuck this. So I was like, fuck it. Let's go. Turn the cameras on. Let's go. We had nothing to say. We were just like, okay.
It was very quick.
Yeah, it was like, he might come in here and roast us, because that video to us, and according to a lot of my friends, were like, man, you guys gave it to Rooflemonger. You know what I'm saying? We felt like you did it pretty fair, you know, as far as like joking on him, calling himself the almighty, you know, shit like that, as far as like everybody eventually sees it my way type shit. And then him and Clayton thing, no, I was not knowledgeable about that. Rick knew some of it, but not to the point, obviously, that you guys would hope we did at the time. And then you're right. When I watched your video, initially before Rooflemonger, I did not watch all of it. I just like, what's going on over here? Because I didn't know. Like, I don't even know who Clayton is. So I was like, what's this? You know, because there's this whole Rooflemonger situation thing. And I saw Mike's video, and it was going fucking through the roof. Like, people are really interested in the history of Rooflemonger and this Clayton guy. And now Mike's involved. So I'm like, let's talk about topics in the FGC. Let's talk about certain things, right? I want to make this one like the first video. And even Rick goes, I don't know, man. Like that might be a
It's
hot
true
one.
because it is a hot one because I know that this is like something that's been going on for years, and it's a beef. So I was just like, I was unsure to even do the story, honestly. Yeah, but we decided to do it and just kind of do a reaction and kind of take it from there. And obviously we should have done more research. I understand that side of you. And when it comes to like the Rooflemonger interview, he wasn't coming on to, we're going to go point. And what do you say about this tweet in 2018 or 2020? Right. He wasn't here for that. He wanted to say things, answer some questions, but if it was going to be that type of interview, that's what he wasn't here for. He wasn't here for a smear campaign. He was here to want to talk, try to get this off his chest, try to move it forward, because in his own words, there's all these games coming out and he wants to focus on that. So
yeah, the thing that solidified it, I'm sorry, Rick, what you say?
Go ahead.
The thing that solidified it for me was I had already said from the jump, I'm going to interview Mike too. In the beginning, I said, I'll do Mike in that Clayton guy, right? So in my mind, like I told Mike, well, that's going to make it even. If I interview this guy and then I interview this guy, then there you go. You got two voices, right? So I'm not going into the Rooflemonger interview thinking like, ooh, I got the hard questions right here. I got the good stuff, and I'm going to kind of like, because honestly, I didn't know. Like I didn't. I should have. You can make that argument all day and say, well, you're the button check guy, right? You could do that. And you're absolutely right, 100%, right? If I could do it over, then I could do it over. But when I went into it, I was not thinking that shit at all. Honestly, I was like, this is what was thrown to us. I'm going to fucking rock with it. Whatever this guy says, I got to fucking rock with it and just be like, oh, okay, I kind of got to take you because I don't know when you're lying and when you're not. I really don't. So I'm like, all right, okay, tell me your truth, right? Then I even told Mike the next day before I posted the interview, I told Mike when it was going to be posted. I said, probably going to be around 8 o'clock or whatever. And then I told him, real talk, I don't think you're going to like it really. Like, I don't think you're going to like he did apologize, but if you don't, me and Rick said to each other, like, if you don't like him, you're probably still not going to like him. Like,
that was not an apology at all. Like, that was one of the most ridiculous things I've seen. But I just want to touch on like something that you guys mentioned there. Like, he wasn't here for like a smear campaign, and he essentially curated the podcast in a way that would benefit him. Because if I come into a podcast to talk to people, anyone can ask me anything. I'm not going to message you beforehand saying, "Oh, this is off topic and that's off topic." I'm just not going to do it at that point. So him coming on here and being like he's not here to speak to me or Clayton or to address any of the real issues, it just goes to show that he's not sincere. He's obviously got things to hide, because any man that is getting called out should be able to answer the call. If you guys had a problem with me and you said you did this and this, Mike, I would come in and confront you and be like, okay, tell me what's wrong and we'll talk about it. He didn't want to do that. He wants to come into a space where it's safe for him to basically just talk shit.
I can see that point of view, like 100%. But I think where the disconnect too is, like you said, when somebody does this is how I'll approach it. Obviously for us, it was not how we were going to approach it, because our mindset was not there at all. Like it wasn't, honestly, when I knew I was going to interview him, I was like, well, I know this, and that. I really want to hit this. Like, he started kind of getting into some rhythm and then trying to say, like, apologize for the Sega thing. And like, I'm an ass. My dad's funeral. And then we were like, our condolences. And then I brought it back and said, well, that's technically still not an excuse, because people could still say, what about all these other times you were an ass? And he was like, oh, no, I'm not trying to say that. So that was me trying to kind of like bring it back to make sure he knew that wasn't like, I get it. Condolences on your dad passing away. I can't imagine. But I wanted for him to know, like, that's still not okay though, right? Like we, at the end of the day, we can't really make excuses for being assholes to people. We just got to own it and say, I'm sorry. But I will say this, when it came to the Clayton part, I asked him when the final edit came out, I will show it to everybody, because maybe when you see it, you might not want it after all. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you want to be like, I don't know about this. And he said, I do not want to watch it. Just post it. And then when I finished it, I said, do you want to watch it now? Are you sure? He said, no, just post it. So I was like, evidently he's comfortable with everything he said.
But if he had said no, would you have edited it?
No, I wouldn't have posted it. So I was like, at the end of the video, he made this face and he was like, I don't really want to do this. He said something like, I don't really want to do this, but like something like that. And then we go, Rooflemonger, I'm talking to you right now. I don't have to do this. Like, I kind of don't want to do this because it's going to bring some more smoke and it's going to bring us deeper in this. So I don't want, like, I promise you, I don't need this content in my life. Like, it's only because you're the one coming to me. You never come to me. You want this out there. He said, it's time for me to say something. Put it out there. And I was like, okay, because it kind of seems like he was on the fence, right? So I was thinking, I'm either going to delete it or I'm just going to put it out there, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, we put it out there, and even me and Dirrty Lo go, oh, man, like the part about Clayton. I mean, we're adults, right? We're all humans at the end of the day. We got fucking senses and stuff. You can obviously tell he does not like Clayton, right?
It does not.
And by the history we see, Clayton obviously does not like him. So when he gave that apology, it was one of those moments where about Clayton. It was one of those moments where we were all like, oh. Like we were all.
You could tell that there's bad blood there that's been going on for years. And
yeah, so I'm sorry. Go ahead,
it's no, and you know, when we were deciding to do it, look, the reality is, Ernesto, we probably knew we're not going to be getting the answers we necessarily want, and we're not going to be able to necessarily give receipts. But is the option? He's coming to us. He never does interviews. He never talks about this trauma. It's only online, basically, and you guys have to go do the research and find it and bring it to light. So do we just talk to him and see what he has to say and at least there's something said about the subject? Or do we just ignore it, nothing said, and it's still not talked about and you guys are still just talking to each other about it and it's not coming to light in general? Like, I think something is better than nothing. At least you have things to discuss. You have things to look into more and tell us and have more content to bring this topic to light if you desire to.
Yeah, I mean I disagree personally. I think that there's coverage that can just make everything worse. And I know you guys you had your intentions, but Rooflemonger was intentional in saying don't have Mike on, don't have Clayton on. And like you said, if you asked him questions about the things he was posting, he was probably going to leave the podcast. It wasn't a thing where he was going to be open with you and say, yeah, I can account for this and I can account for that. And there were points in the podcast that were really telling because you would ask him a question like, how did this all start? And he said, he responded with something, I think SRK or whatever. And I was like, do you know or do you not know? Because he kept on saying things. There was no receipts. To this day, we've not seen a single thing. He's never said to us, oh, you can look on this particular forum or you can, there's a private message between me and Clayton that I can release. There's nothing. It's just him randomly saying things. And yet, Clayton has got loads of receipts. And I said to Clayton, there's this thing called the Wayback Machine. If Rooflemonger can point me in the direction of where Clayton's been saying malicious things, I'll have people go and find it and we'll find it. But apparently it just doesn't exist. Rooflemonger has absolutely nothing to substantiate anything he's saying, which is why, in my opinion, instead of acting like a man and having us all here at the same time. Well, at the very least, I didn't even need to be here. Clayton could have been here and he could have confronted Clayton and said sorry to him. He decided, I'll go and talk to third parties. I'll make up a bunch of stuff and then I'll just be on my way. He even said that this is my one and done. So it's not that he's seeking a resolution. He was seeking a way to sort of cushion the damage that my video had done to his YouTube channel, which I'll talk about a bit later, because even that particular thing annoyed me of what he did, because he knows that he was lying. So the whole thing just came across like he used you guys to get away from the situation that my video had caused, because up until that point, the reason that I'm involved in this situation, because I know some people don't know, is that because their situation had been going on for 8 to 10 years, Clayton had been trying to get his message out to loads of different people. He had gone to loads of content creators and been like, can you help me get my message out? Because Clayton's not very good at getting his own message out. Like, it's very scattered and all over the place. And he came to me and he showed it to me months before I ever gave him a platform, because I interviewed him about 1 year and 6 months ago. And I said to him, I can't do the live stream with you because I can't make heads and tails of what is going on here. So I had to sift through stuff myself and try to get things into chronological order. And eventually I was able to. And then that's when we spoke. And I said to him, okay, cool. I'll put you on my podcast because no one else is talking about this. And I've seen your medical records. I know that you're very sick. And that's when me and Clayton started talking, and that's when I started helping her with the situation. So that's why I am involved in it. Rooflemonger thinks that I'm involved because he insulted me and I got really angry. And he did insult me. I didn't get really angry, but I was like, well, I mean, I already don't like you, and you've already trod on my toes. So like, if you're also out here bullying people, I don't see why I can't say something about it. And if Clayton has given me his medical records and he's given me permission to speak about it, and I can get the message across, then I'll do it. And then that's when recently I said to Clayton a long time ago, you need to wait, because Rooflemongers, he's a bit of a donut and he's going to do something to cause a bit of a stir. And when he does and people's attention is on him, we'll talk about this particular situation, because no one's listening right now. And then that's when I released the video and it got all of that attention. So that's why I am involved in the situation to begin with.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think what annoyed me with the whole thing is because obviously I didn't know anything. Like, so all I saw was that video you posted. And even then I didn't make it a button check. I was just like, I don't feel comfortable about it. Like, I don't like really covering stories like that. And I just rather not at this point. So when we did this channel, I asked Lo, I was like, hey, you see that Rooflemonger thing going on? I mean, I just told you the story, obviously, but we decided to go forward with it with the same knowledge that we had, previously. And I was like, all right, I felt good to me. Like, I felt like we were fair. We kind of ripped on Roofle. We said verbatim that Rooflemonger should apologize. I think Dirrty Lo said he should take a step back. Cool. Somebody should cool down. And then he said, Roofle should apologize. Clayton should apologize. And then hopefully they could work it out. But I know Clayton heard, and you heard that part that Clayton should also apologize. And that triggered y'all as well. Is like, how dare you? Why should I be the one to apologize and stuff like that? But that's not what Dirrty Lo meant. Like, Dirrty Lo clearly said, Rooflemonger should apologize. Because when like you squash some beef with somebody, I've been there, and I'll be like, you know what? Hey, if it's my fault, hey, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I did this, this, and that. And the other person, they don't have to. They don't have to accept shit. But sometimes they'll go, I'm sorry too, because I did some shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where Dirrty Lo was coming from. So when that episode was in the books, I honestly wasn't thinking twice about it until we started boom, 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 blowing up, right? Because I guess all the heat from your video and you yourself, and also Clayton himself, were in that comment section, very outraged. And I was like, what to the fuck, right? And my first instinct was, I got to talk to Mike. So I asked you, how do I FaceTime you? And then since then, me and you have been talking, right? And then the Rooflemonger thing got thrown at us, and we were like, fuck it, I guess we're doing it. And then we'll interview Mike after. And that also was kind of like the same response. It's like, either you rock with him or you don't. And if you don't, oh, fuck, you really not going to rock with him after this interview. You know what I'm saying? So once again, it was like, here goes some more videos about fuck this content on Frame Trap that's like 2 days old. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what to the fuck? Like, because there's a big piece of me, like I was telling you, Mike, is the whole reason why I created this channel is to escape what I was doing over there on Button Check. Like, I wanted to talk freely over here and do more of a podcast. No news coverage, no like insider hard hitting shit, just like, hey, let's talk. Now, I know I'm Mr. Button Check and this is episode 1. So yeah, it's going to confuse a lot of people. So I get that. And I probably should have thought that through better. But to be in this position now is fucking blowing my mind. You know what I'm saying? It's really blowing my mind. So I've even lost subscribe. I'm looking at my subscriber count. Like, I just noticed it today because I was like, I don't really look at it too often. But I was like, wait a minute, I done lost fucking 50 subscribers? Like, what the fuck? And that was literally after Rooflemonger's video went out. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me, man? So I was like, and then some comments were like, interview Mike, you motherfucker, interview Mike, you son of a bitch. And I'm like, okay, nah, you traitor mother, it's social media. So I don't care about that shit at the end of the day. What I do care about that me and you are straight, you know what I'm saying? And that we could somehow talk, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, Lo, what were you saying?
I want to ask this because I know, Mike brought up that, hey, asking Rooflemonger for receipts, and when we asked him when he thinks it starts, he's starting to kind of give vague notions. Do you think it's the case of maybe this just isn't that big of a deal for him, and it's forgotten how it started over the years. I mean, because everything, like I said, seems from between 20 to 2020 as far as like stuff I saw in some of your videos and Clayton's most recent video. And I mean, it seemed like the energy he was giving us was like, I can't remember. I'm not keeping receipts because this is from so long ago. You asked me about internet beef that I had and messages I sent from 2018 to 2020. I'm not going to remember squat. So do you think that's the case? Is there anything recent from like 2024, 2025 where you could just show like, this is still something he's actively pursuing?
Yeah. Well, I could hold on before you answer. I had beef with LTG in 2018, and I remember all that shit.
I wouldn't, man. I wouldn't.
Be real. Because when you really have heated beef, like now to think about it, when you really have heated beef, you kind of remember that shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm wondering.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Because it was a very nonchalant, like I just kind of don't remember, type of energy.
The reason that he doesn't remember is because he's not the one with cancer and skin cancer and radiation poisoning and a whole litany of diseases. He's the successful YouTuber. He's not the one that was going onto forums and telling people that Clayton is lying about his health. So for him, it's like, I'm successful. I make loads of money on YouTube. And Clayton's the one there. Like, obviously, to a lot of people, he looks unhinged because his whole channel is covering what Rooflemonger has done to him for all these years. So from people that have just gotten into the situation now, looking at it, they look at Clayton and they think he's mad. Right. And it probably has driven him mad in some sense, because you've got this guy who has just, and bear in mind, this entire time Clayton has been saying he was lying about me, saying that I don't have cancer. And he just went, yeah, I lied, my bad. And then he just kept it moving. And he said, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I guess you do have cancer. Like, what kind of, and then he goes, he's not going to accept my apology. What self-respecting man, after you've done all that shit to them for 10 years, and then you just come out and say, yeah, no, my bad, you have got cancer. What about that disease that he kept on saying that Clayton had? The mental illness that makes you tell people that you have a disease to garner sympathy. There was no mention of, or no acknowledgement of that. There was no acknowledgement of the harassment he sent his way, which we had receipts of in Clayton's video that I put on the screen in the coverage that I did of your podcast of him, in the video that I did beforehand, and in the interview of Clayton. There was no acknowledgement of that. He's been saying this stuff about Clayton for years, and then suddenly when he comes onto your podcast, he goes, yeah, my bad, you do have cancer. Sorry. What happened in the last 3 days? Because in his comment section, in his community post, he was still telling people that Clayton has that mental health disorder that compels you to tell people that you're sick. So what happened in the last 3 days? Because last time I checked, Rooflemonger said that people in Clayton's personal life came to him personally and told him that Clayton has that mental health disorder. So did these people magically disappear? They no longer exist now? That's why I was getting annoyed when I was watching it, because I was like, he's lying and he's getting away with it. And there's going to be a certain number of people that are just going to watch that video and they're not going to go and look at anything else or fact check it. And they're going to be like, yeah, Clayton's got a mental health illness. And he said, sorry, what do you guys want from him? When the real problem is he's just telling another lie. There's no real apology there. He's just fabricated another lie. And in doing that, he's kind of used you two. He's used you two as like conduits to get away with it. And he's made both of you look bad in doing that. And I know you guys didn't come in here to like do a malicious job or a smear campaign against Clayton, but Rooflemonger's smart enough to know that you guys weren't really aware of all of his lies and what he was saying and the receipts. And so he said it, and people are going to look at that and go, Ernesto and Dirrty Lo let him get away with that. So he's put you in the shit as well, because he knows that you guys weren't prepared to ask him those questions.
Could it be said also the same, like if we're just being like real, like, like non-biased, right? Couldn't it be the same, like if you say only a certain amount of people are going to watch our video and think like, oh, it was a Sega thing, or Clayton's has mental problems, and that kind of undoes what you did for what you said, right? But couldn't the same argument be made that only a certain amount of people are also going to watch your video, since it got like over 35,000 views, and they're going to think that Rooflemonger is a piece of shit? And obviously there's a lot that do, because they're unsubscribing for me and Kim from what you told me and what he kind of mentioned. But that could be the same thing. And then we could also say only a certain amount of people are going to watch this video, and then see your point of view. So that's how I was seeing it. It's like if we get two perspectives, then everybody could see everything. I can't really control that everybody sees everything, but I can control what I put out there. You know what I'm saying? So me putting you out there was my way of being like, we're being fair. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew you were going to come on here and tell us your receipts. You know what I'm saying? You've always been big on receipts. So I thought that was fair. So that's how my perspective of it. And the last thing I wanted to ask you was, you say these things about Rooflemonger and how he kind of just skipped over the stuff, right? Is it possible, and I don't know, but is it possible, like when it started, from your point of view, was it like, who fired the first shot? Did Rooflemonger just come out and start talking shit, or was Clayton like a thing locally? And then I don't know how we would even escalate to this, right? Because Rooflemonger says they don't like each other. And at one point he insulted his dead mother. And then you say, well, there's no receipts for that, right? And then Rooflemonger will say something like, I don't need receipts because I lived through it, something like that. But then you guys will say, well, we have receipts for this, this, and this. But going that far back, even to this day, where you say like, well, Rooflemonger's in his comments section talking shit. Could it be more of because Rooflemonger claims up and down that I'm just trying to walk away. Do you remember that part of the video?
Yeah.
He keeps saying, I'm trying to walk away. I'm trying to walk away. This guy won't let me. What are your thoughts on that?
So firstly, I think when you're going to make claims about anybody on the internet, you need to have some sort of evidence. Otherwise, why would I believe you? It's like if we do this podcast and then I say some really offhand stuff about you, and you come out and you talk about it, but then you don't release the podcast. And it's like, well, if you've got evidence, say something.
Right.
In Rooflemonger's entire time being on the internet, for some reason, there's just no evidence for anything. I find that a little bit suspicious. To answer Dirty, because I didn't answer Dirty Lo's question earlier, it's not just from 2018. It's also recent as well. He said that it's from one screenshot in 2018, but in my video, I showed several screenshots. In terms of where this all started, there are screenshots, even in the video that Clayton just put up of Rooflemonger attacking him on old forums, really old, back in the Dragon Ball FighterZ days when the game was very early. There is a screenshot of Rooflemonger actually being very gracious to Clayton. He's saying they've always disliked each other, but there's a comment that Rooflemonger left on Clayton's video saying good job, and Clayton saying thank you. It was like a combo video, and Clayton has the receipt for that. So Rooflemonger, he started off by saying something, something, something. He started insulting me. Clayton didn't just come out of nowhere and start insulting him. Rooflemonger has done this with other creators as well, where he's taken their tech, or he showcased their tech on his channel, and they've said to him, where's my credit? There was a Jiren player. He was in my comment section, and I put his screenshot in my video as well. And the Jiren player was saying, you didn't credit me for my combo. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to think it's just a combo. What's the big deal? But at the end of the day, Rooflemonger is one of the biggest content creators in our space, and he got big from Dragon Ball FighterZ. And that was in part because of the things that he had taken from other people and put on his channel. He left a comment saying that there's never any evidence to point to him doing that stuff, even though we had screenshots of people complaining at him for doing it. There's screenshots of him in forums being called out for doing it. So he just like spins these web of lies. And because his base of subscribers don't care if he even punched a dog, to be honest with you. You could show them proof that he ran over a dog and they'd go, I don't care, I just want my guides. So he knows that he can get away with saying these things to people. But the proof is on YouTube. People can say what they want about Clayton. He's not an angel, neither am I. None of us are perfect, but at least he's got proof for that. This whole thing where people are insulting his mum, I've never seen this. I've never seen any of it. I'm not saying that someone hasn't insulted his mum, but he's making these claims. And when I watched Clayton's video, Clayton made out like Rooflemonger said that it was a private conversation that took place between them, so it wouldn't have been on a forum. So if it's a private conversation, release the DMs. Show us the DMs. If there's proof that Clayton has been dragging his dead mother, of course Clayton should be called out for that. No one should be doing that. As much as I don't like Rooflemonger, I'd never wish someone's parents passing away, and I definitely wouldn't speak about them in vain. And I even said to Clayton, just don't talk about his parents at all, because Clayton was talking about how his dad passed away, but he was still posting on YouTube. And I said, even though we don't like Rooflemonger, everyone has a right to grieve however they want. And he could have made loads of videos a week earlier and just released them over time. It doesn't mean that he's lying about it. But even if he was, it's none of our business. Those are his dead parents. I'm not gonna. I don't touch those things. You know, I'm not disrespectful like that. And Rooflemonger is enough of an idiot to just focus on him without bringing his parents into it. But he makes all of these claims, and my podcast is very open. I have everyone on, and I've always said to people that like support Rooflemonger as well. If Clayton's been doing this stuff because you guys also stalk him, show me. There's been no proof whatsoever, zero. So I got to go with the person that's got receipts.
Okay, got it. So now I will say this. Yes, what Rooflemonger said was horrible. Those are horrible things he said in the messages, in the forums and things like that. I think we can both agree that Clayton's no angel either. He's a firecracker. He's controversial. He said controversial things. Does Clayton feel like he said anything to Warner any of this? Does he feel sorry for any of the bad things he might have said to Clayton? I mean, he does, granted, I understand why he's angry to be saying these comments over and over again, but he does go hard at times. Weight stuff, all that kind of stuff. So do you think Clayton feels remorse for that also too? Or is it just, hey, this is just so big, this has just affected his life so much that he's just angry and that's just what it is and what it's going to be?
I don't think he feels any remorse for insulting Rooflemonger's appearance, because I think if you start by saying that someone doesn't have cancer, the gloves are kind of off at that point. And I said to Clayton, if Rooflemonger's insulting your looks or saying you're stupid, I'm not going to attack him for that. I don't care. That's all petty. My main problem here is that you've got a big content creator spreading lies about someone's cancer, which is, in my opinion, a big problem, because Rooflemonger likes to use the fact that his parents had passed away from cancer and it's a big deal to him. And in the same breath says that he's lying about somebody that has cancer. Like, my grandparents passed away from cancer as well. So to hear him using that, I'm just like, yeah, this is scumbag behavior. But if Clayton's been insulting his appearance, yeah, he shouldn't be doing that. But I'm not. Those are petty things. Like, people insult my appearance all the time. I don't particularly care. But if it's something serious like that, where you're talking about someone's cancer, I think, at least in my book, that's another level. But everyone's different, obviously. Some people might take more issue with that. I've told Clayton before, don't focus on his appearance. It's irrelevant, because we can all lose our looks one day. And I've made a point to not talk about what Rooflemonger looks like. But is Clayton does he have any remorse? Probably not, because he feels like what Rooflemonger's done is far, far worse. I don't think he should stoop to Rooflemonger's level. It's not how I operate, but he's his own man. I can't really control what he does. I've told him not to do certain things, but I ain't his dad, so I can't really stop him.
Yeah, I think it doesn't. It was rough for me because my introduction to him was him like going off on me, and then like very aggressively, and I get it. He's mad, and he's probably dropped like 2 or 3 videos by this time. He'll probably drop another one after this, but like I told you, I'm not gonna drop shit. Like, I'm not gonna drop shit when you drop yours. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm just kind of sticking to what I'm doing, because I don't care. I don't have any ill will like that or a horse in this race. But I kind of got this impression that, granted, he's been through a lot, and I can't speak on that. All I can speak is like his pain. And I said that in the Rooflemonger video. I was like, I can't even imagine your pain and like what you're going through. But when people's only impression of you, like from my perspective, is like aggression, and then you did make that comment about Max Dogs dying and Brian F's cancer and stuff like that, it does seem unhinged. And it does seem like, what the fuck? This guy is like out there. You know what I'm saying? And once again, I can't speak on his pain, because I don't know what that would be like, of me thinking I had this cancer and it's killing me and all this stuff. I can't even imagine, right? But it kind of comes down to like just what we were telling Rooflemonger, like, your dad passing away that week is not an excuse for you being an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I would have to say the same thing to Clayton, and being like, you need to, like, if you want to get your message out there better, you gotta calm down, man. Like, you gotta come. Like, me and him would have been a completely different scenario if he would have just came to me like you did, or even came to me through you, right? Since you know me. And then we could have been like this, like, rather than in the comments yelling and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Do
don't
you
think
agree?
of what he said about because he made an offhand joke about Max's dog, and I said to him, if someone spoke about my dog, I'd want to tear their throat out. So you're not, you can't talk about his dog. He didn't say it in the way Rufus said it. Rufus just made up a. He said something about joking that dog is dead. That's not what happened. He made a joke
Mm,
about Doctor Doom and the dog. I don't really get the joke, to be honest with you, but I don't think you should be joking about someone's dead dog. Period. And I said I put
right.
it in my video. I told him
I
don't.
saw that. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, if Clayton ever released our DMs, you can see in our DMs, he'll say stuff to me, and I'm like, don't say that shit. That's because he does get angry sometimes, and I understand his anger. He's going through a lot. Any year could be his last year, and to have the FGC piling on you saying, "Oh, you're a liar. You're not really dying," I can imagine his anger's reached a peak. But I'm not going to egg him on to do bad things just because people have done that to him. So I told him what you said about Brian F was he wasn't being malicious about Brian F, but it was disrespectful and it was distasteful because he basically the story behind that is Brian F was saying nice things about Rooflemonger, and Clayton said, "Has the cancer gone to your head or something? Why are you defending that guy who's
Mm,
going after me who has cancer?" So he wasn't being like malicious, but it was extremely disrespectful and distasteful. And I said to him, "Don't say that stuff," because he's also going through something that I would never want to go through.
right.
Um, Whether he accepts that, I don't know, but I don't co-sign those things. I think that's
Yeah.
all juvenile and extremely disrespectful. And if people gave him shit for that, he would deserve it. That doesn't
Do you
exonerate Rooflemonger, though.
Right. Right.
do you
That's two
think
separate things. But
do you think that's held back the story a lot about how he is interacting with these days? Because Rufel says that he's reached out to all these different content creators and they don't want anything to do with it and just think one thing of them. And you're saying, look, he's tried to reach out and get this information out. Do you think it's just his approach on this is really like stopping from this coming to light a little more in
Yeah,
general? Or
100%. I told him today that like you need to stop firing at everybody and just aim at one target. You've got a big target here. Rufus has essentially defamed you, to be honest, with the things he said, and that's a win for you because he's actually done something malicious. All these other people that because like you guys can like Rooflemonger. I'm not going to dislike someone for liking him, but Clayton's problem is if you like Rooflemonger, you're now his enemy. And I
right.
don't think it's
Right.
good to be like that because you
Right.
guys are not beholden to any of us. You can like who you want to like.
Right.
Um, Clayton's got a legitimate gripe with Rooflemonger, and Rooflemonger deserves the criticism he gets for what he's done to Clayton. But because Rooflemonger has so much power and influence in the community, and his base just don't give a shit what he does, he gets away with it, and that drives Clayton mad. And when he sees people like even supporting Rufo a little bit, he aims at them as well because he's already a very outspoken person. So yeah, it's an unfortunate like concoction of just fuckery that has been going on. But the ground zero is Rooflemonger. It all stems back to him, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a shitty situation, like altogether, man. Like this to think that, and I think Rick told Rooflemonger the same thing, but to think that like this is the first time we actually collab together is kind of sad. You know what I'm saying? Like over a topic like this, because I know you invited me on your channel at one point, and we didn't work it out for scheduling reasons. But as soon as I created this, matter of fact, we talk about having you on the Rooflemonger video because me and Rick were like, if we're going to talk about this, maybe we should have Mike on because it's Mike's video. And then I asked Rick, well, when do you want to film it? He was like, well, let's knock it out. It's like, well, fuck it, let's do it like this. And then maybe Mike talks later. But then, of course, everything blew up by then. But anyway, long story longer, it just sucks, man. Like this whole thing. Like when you coming on here, clearing your air, speaking your truth, you know what I'm saying, critiquing us, and then pointing out things about Rooflemonger. You did mention to me that your hopes would be that after this, Clayton could maybe take a breather and not focus on this. Do you think that there's a good possibility that that could happen?
Probably not. Probably not now, to be honest. My idea behind all of this was that we would get Clayton on here with Rooflemonger and it could finally be squashed, but Rooflemonger intentionally denied that request. And in Clayton's eyes, obviously, I mean, in most people's eyes, that's a bitch-made thing to do. Like, you've been beefing with someone for so long, there's finally a third party that's like neutral because you guys ain't taking sides.
Right.
And I didn't need to be here. It could have just been Clayton and Rooflemonger could have just admitted to him that he's told lies, and I do want to walk away from this. Like, can you accept my apology? Is there any way I can make amends? And then the ball's in Clayton's court. But he purposefully didn't do that. It's really funny because when I was watching the podcast, he would say sorry and then say, yeah, but he's severely ill. And then he would say sorry and then wave into the camera and go, hi, Clayton. And I'm like, I'm like, bro, are you retarded or something? Like, what are you doing? That's not an apology. If I say sorry to someone, I say sorry. I say why I'm saying sorry, and I keep it moving. Not say sorry, you're mentally ill. Say sorry, hi, Clayton. Like, he knew what he was doing.
I think he was telling the truth when he said, I've never apologized.
That's how you know. That's how you know.
Yeah.
He legit said that. He was like, bro, this is a big deal for me. I don't do this. Especially, he's like, I've never apologized publicly. I've never apologized. So this is me taking a step, right? That's what he said. So, and I know it's funny and I'm joking, but when anybody watching that part of the video could be like, oh man, why would you say, okay, you obviously, and that's why I said in the video, like Clayton, I tried to start talking to him, was like, you're probably watching this part of the video spazzing out right now. And then he would jump in again with some smart remark. And I was like, okay, this is just going to be what it is. Like, he doesn't like him. He does not like him. So obviously, when you come with that energy, the apology is useless.
He knew what he was doing. He purposefully he put the apology out there because sometimes you have people, and I saw them in the comment section where they hear sorry and they'll say, "Oh, he said sorry now. What's the problem?" But respectfully, you've got to be stupid to hear sorry and then hear the insult and be like, "It's not a big deal." But Rooflemonger is smart enough to know that he's cultivated a base around him that will accept his nonsense. And to the rest of us listening, we're all sitting there going, what kind of an apology is this? And I can only imagine. I have a list of things that I wanted to bring up that he said. Actually, this is probably a good opportunity. Do you guys remember in the podcast when he said that on Twitter he's just trolling and joking when he's like going after people, and sometimes he has a really hard day editing, and to unwind he goes on Twitter to troll people. Now, I don't know about you, but that's the most terminally online shit I've ever heard in my life. I don't know what grown man, first of all, to be a content creator and have the privilege of people wanting to watch your videos it's a blessing, right? It's a blessing to wake up and get comments from people and be 100%. Like, hey, I want to hear your take and I want to see you make a video on this. Or they come to your live stream and they donate to you or they hang out with you. That's all a blessing. 100%. You got this grown man, 42 years old, going, I had a really tough day editing. To unwind, I went on Twitter looking for smoke. Bro, what? I heard that and I was like, you know what? I don't even know if I want to communicate with this idiot. Like, this is so beneath me. But obviously at this point, you can't really disengage. And I don't know about you guys, but that was very telling to me because he was saying that he has one persona on YouTube, one persona on Twitter.
Yeah, he said that.
And then there's probably a little bit of, like, the ugly truth is probably somewhere in the middle. And all that told me was that this guy's fake. We don't know who we're dealing with here. On YouTube, he's got the Looney Tunes voice. He does his guides. And on Twitter, he's puffing out his chest, insulting people. So I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like someone that's fake.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's hard for me.
Go ahead, Rick.
It's hard for me to be like, that's fake because Dirty Lo and Rick are two completely different people when I'm on the clock getting paid by someone else. I am the most cordial,
could you explain
grammar-filled. Well, I can explain it to you is that when I have my work persona, where I'm clean cut, I'm cordial, I'm here to do work, I'm focused on that. You'll get some light joking, some nice conversation, and I clock out. And then when I get out, I'm wild, I'm boisterous, I'm loud, I can say whatever I want, do whatever I want. So I understand, like, hey, if I'm working on a YouTube video where it's a guide breakdown, yes, this is my persona because it's what this channel is. Outside of my job, I act like this.
That's fair.
That is a fair thing. But whether that doesn't justify being a troll and doing whatever you want.
That's what I was about to say.
But there are two sides to professional people. In general, you have your work attitude and you have your personal life. You've ever been out with a coworker and they're completely different out of the office and wild and crazy? It happens all the time.
Yeah, I said what Rick said. I agree with 100%. But what Mike was just talking about, the persona, like, well, I'm this on the clock, I'm that off the clock. I get that 100%. But to the whole, well, when I'm off the clock, I like to troll motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I like to be
it doesn't
an
make it
asshole.
great.
And then
it doesn't
he
make
said
it great.
himself, he said, I probably shouldn't do that. I need to be better. In the interview, I said, you can't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, yeah, I need to be better. I need to stop that because
You're
I'm
not
the
a kid
tech
anymore.
guy.
That's true.
You're not a kid anymore. You know, it's like, I'm not a tech guy. I mean, I'm the tech guy. I'm the teacher. So I should be better than that. So I was like, you should in a perfect world, right? But yes, 100% when he said that, I think we all kind of thought the same thing. Like, why would that be your stress relief? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would your stress relief go?
It's you got to grow up. It is childish to think about it. Like, go and troll, and you're still in that mindset. It's like sometimes some people grow up at different ages, and sometimes it's a slap in the face to help you grow up. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes people need a slap on the wrist in order to wake up and grow up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is my disagreement. So, in a corporate sense, if you're going into the office, I think that's completely different to YouTube. YouTube is like, it's a hobby for most people that turns into something.
It's a career for a lot of people. What are you talking about? There are multimillionaires off of YouTube. He makes a living off of YouTube. This is his job.
Yeah, but
he travels.
Yeah, but you're still
you travel. We're doing an
artist.
interview right now at 2 a.m. for your job. You want to do this full time? You want to make a career out of it, make money? You have to treat it like that. I treat it the same way. I'm pretty sure there are YouTubers who are super professional. They're acting completely different. That's why you get drama. There's always a drama about this YouTuber who was one thing, and then some scandal comes out because they're a completely different person off camera. I don't agree with that. Yeah, because I know it's like you treat this like a job.
Okay.
That's what people do.
Okay.
No,
did I cut out?
Going back to normal.
Yeah, you cut out for a second, but you're back. But I think we heard the gist of what you were saying.
Yeah, I disagree with this
man,
completely.
Treat it like a job.
I think that YouTube, on here, a lot of the time, people are selling their personalities. And in Rooflemonger's case, a lot of people were saying, oh, he seems so wholesome. He seems like such a nice guy. Because most of normally, YouTubers or influencers, whatever you want to call them, they are selling themselves. People come to this channel to watch you
can say that.
and Ernesto. They come to my channel to watch me for what I'm selling on the channel. So if you see a YouTuber who their job is selling themselves to get their stories across or their news or whatever, and then you see a completely different side of them, that's different to being in the corporate sense. The corporate job is not the same as a YouTuber's job. And I'm reluctant to even call it a job. Maybe if you go full time, then fine. But I still think if you're on here and you're presenting yourself in a certain way and people are like, oh, he seems like a decent dude. And then online, you're just ripping people and calling them retards and stuff. No, I think that you're fake. I think you're full of shit. You're selling me something on here that the primary selling point is your personality, not your corporate, the corporate entity that you're trying to get me to buy a product for. You're selling me you. And now I'm going on another app and I'm watching you act like a child.
Yeah,
I've got to call you fake for that.
Yeah, I think there's a disconnect because it's like what he's doing, what he said, like his after-hour hobby was of trolling people for a stress reliever. I think we're all agreeing that's bad, right? We're all saying that don't do that shit. Like I told him in the interview, don't do that shit. And he said, I need to be better. So I think all of us agreeing with that. That hobby is dog shit. Like why would that be your stress reliever? Lift some weights, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Go for a walk. You know what I'm saying?
That's really important, actually, not to forget that this grown man sits there and goes, to unwind, I'm going to go and troll people. Like, you got to think about the mechanics, how the gears are turning here. Who does that? The people that do that are when you go on Twitter and you see someone saying something absolutely unhinged and you're like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
That's Rooflemonger. That's who he is.
I agree with that. I think we're all agreeing with that part. I think what Rick's trying to say, and I could be wrong, but like from my point of view, I do this full time. I've been doing it full time for the last 2.5 years. When I'm in this camera, I pretty much, I'm different though, because I give people me. Like I've cried on this camera multiple times. Like I've been in the hospital on this damn camera. I filmed an episode in the ER, you know what I'm saying? So I'm more willing to do that. That's my whole thing. My whole thing is I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you all of me. That's always been my thing. And I could be risky, but I feel like that's what my way of connecting with people, right? So Rooflemonger doesn't really do that. He's more like, my friends, you know, when he does the tutorials and shit like that, and you hear his voice most of the time. So he doesn't really give you the trueness of him. He gives you the tech. And then on Twitter, you see some shit and you're like, wait, what's going on? But I think what Dirty Lo is saying is like, for my point of view, is like, it's hard for me to relate this because I am so transparent on the camera. But there's moments when there's moments I don't want to film. I'm depressed. And I'm just like, fuck, I don't even know if I want to do YouTube anymore. I'm so like fucking just out of it today. You know what I'm saying? And I got sponsors I'm talking to, and I got content creators or people tagging me in stories, and I got to choose which ones to do every day. I do it every day. And now I'm doing it on this channel, right? And these sponsors are trying to cut deals with me constantly. Every day I talk to a sponsor. And it's this thing I built over 8 years. So I feel like, shit, I'm wearing 2 sponsors right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm like, it's this pressure. It's this pressure to where like, even if I'm feeling down and out, man, I get my focus. I go for walks every day. I say a prayer. I'm like, game time. And I give the people, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another, you know what I'm saying? And then I joke a little bit of what's going on. And then the camera turns off. I go back to being depressed. And it's like, so I'm kind of clicking in here. And then I click out to be family man again with my wife and my kids and my dogs and stuff like that. Is that what you were saying, Rick? That they're
Yeah, I mean, it's like
you clock in and you clock out.
It could be night and day. You clock in and clock out. It could be that way. Anything could be that way.
And two, there's. I'm sorry. The last thing I was going to say is I think we could all agree, for the most part, is like there's conversations that we've had with our friends, our close friends, and our family where we're joking. We know for a fact that we can't put that shit on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Even if your people rock with you, because they were like, "What the fuck are you guys?" You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole Kevin Hart roast thing where people were like, oh my God, did you hear those jokes? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's a piece of you that only your intimate people can get rather than your subscribers. I don't know if I'm going off.
I think that's slightly different. I think having being personable, or like having things that you don't like sharing online is different to having a persona switch when you get online. And my problem with this is that I will ask you guys this question. Why do you think people unsubscribe to him? Why do you think he lost 1,000 subscribers?
They didn't like what the situation was going on. They didn't like, comments in the past. You know what it is. I mean, hey, it is what it is. Hey, I thought one thing of this person. I see these comments. I don't like it. So I'll unsubscribe.
Yeah, because the reason they're unsubscribing is because YouTubers sell themselves. They sell their personality to people, and that's why people are there. Well, if you work at a Ferrari dealership and you cuss me out, I'm still going to buy the Ferrari. I don't really care. You're just a conduit. You're just a salesman. But if I come to your YouTube channel and you do something, I'm like, hey, wait a second. I like you, but what are you saying right now? I'm subscribing because of you, because I'm seeing another side of your personality that I don't like. So when YouTubers act one way on YouTube and then you go to Twitter and act in a completely different way, I think you have to separate them from people that work in a corporate sense, because people that work in offices, they're just representing a company. And at different levels, that's going to have different ramifications depending on how you talk to the customer. On YouTube, we're just representing ourselves. That's why they left Rooflemonger, because they realized, oh, this guy's behavior is gross. And I'm subscribed to Rooflemonger. I'm not subscribed to like Rooflemonger Incorporated or something. It's the person I'm here for.
Yeah. And I agree. Like I said, I was saying like his extracurricular activities, we're all saying that's bullshit. So I agree. Once you start doing that, I can understand and complete what you're saying. Like, well, a persona here and you being an asshole is here is not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So I get that 100%. I think me and Dirty Lo, especially me, I was speaking more like when you clock in, you got to clock in. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just fucking time to clock in. That's what I'm speaking. I can't attest to his tweets because I'm admitting those are wrong. But also to your point of why are people unsubscribing to him? Man, fucking people are unsubscribing. I keep refreshing my shit the whole time we're talking, and I've lost 40 people now, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? And look, it's the name of the game.
What it is, man.
It's the name of the game. What it is. I've been here for 8 years. I get it. It happens. You're bound to release a story, or somebody else bound to release a story, and they'd be like, what'd he say? Man, fuck this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't even wait for me to have you on. I've been saying the whole time I was going to have you on, but of course that's not good enough. So I get it. But people will unsubscribe all the fucking time for whatever reason, man. Like, And I can't help that as content creators. We can't help that, bro. It's annoying, but I don't know if that's a direct representation of you know, you being a good person or a content creator. I think it can be a penalty, obviously. But
I think
it's
it
not happening
depends.
to me. It's not happening to me just because I talked to the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you did a video about it. So it's like chain reaction type of shit. People are
Yeah.
now looking at me like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
I think
all right.
it's because of the nature of the topic. Like the topic is so sensitive that it can't be a thing where it's like, oh, we're just gonna shoot the shit about it. It's too
Yeah.
not all topics are the same. So
I don't agree with that though. I feel like I should be able to talk about whatever I want. You know what I'm
no,
saying? Like
but you can
freedom
you
of
can.
speech.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like don't get me wrong. Like if let's say, you know, a lot of YouTubers talked about the Charlie Kirk thing when that happened. Everybody did, right? Podcasts everywhere. So I get it, man. When extreme stuff happens, you trust me, I learned my lesson the hard way back in the day. When extreme stuff happens, you really gotta like, hey, if we're gonna talk about this, we gotta like fuck. Like, because it's like really hot right now and you don't want to be disrespectful and stuff like that. So I get it. I get it. I get especially from the guy, Clayton, he's the main guy in this. So I understand from his point of view, he's been going through this trauma. So yeah, I completely get that. But I'm sorry, my alarm's going off. But from my point of view, go ahead.
Okay, so I had a question because I know I saw a lot of the messages and stuff like that from Rooflemonger and from like 2018 to 2020. I know he's recently had some messages responding now that the controversy back in. And anything after 2020, like 2023, 2024, it seems like his responses and negativity about Clayton isn't like him going out to the forum and just posting it. It's in response to someone asking about it, right? Or talking about it. And it just seems like this situation, he's just on a dime, ready to just talk shit, basically, because he's frustrated with the situation on his side also, too. Like, do you see any like messages where he's actually going out of his way, like recently over the last like 2 to 3 years, where he's constantly going out of his way to keep saying this?
Yeah, like there's plenty of receipts on Clayton's channel where Rufus was just talking shit about him. And thing is, like, people not liking each other and talking shit is fine. It's the nature of what is being said because it's about someone's health and him potentially dying because of it. I think that's the big problem because content creators cuss each other all the time and no one says anything. It doesn't turn into this. But the reason that people are so angry in all directions is because this is like a Clayton situation is life or death. And it's being toyed with by people that have no respect for human life, which evidently Rooflemonger is one of them. So yeah, Rooflemonger said stuff like it's. I know it's hard to keep track of it on Clayton's channel because he uploads constantly and there's loads of different screenshots and receipts and whatever, but they're all there. If people really want to know what's going on, I did the 3-hour podcast with him a year and a half ago. There's plenty of stuff in there. There's plenty of stuff on his channel. I put stuff on my channel recently. So there's loads of stuff. Rooflemonger makes out like he went quiet for 4 years and he didn't hear anything. But then if you pay attention in your podcast, you also said, yeah, this happens every year. And I'm like, well, if it's happening every year, conversations coming up every year. There's some sort of tiff happening. Maybe Clayton starts it sometimes. Maybe Clayton like goes in there looking for him sometimes. I have no doubt, obviously, because of the origins of the story, where Clayton would go out of his way to find him. But Rooflemonger acting like he doesn't say stuff. People have got screenshots of him doing it. So I don't know what he's on about. The worst thing about this situation is that there's proof all over someone's YouTube channel, and people are pretending like they don't know. And I'm like, if you care about the situation, I'm not talking about you guys specifically, but anyone, if you care about the situation, it's there. Just go and look. If you really care. I mean, I get there's only so much time in the day. You can't watch all of Clayton's videos. But if you want to see the things he's been saying, it's all over his channel. And there's Google documents as well on it.
Yeah. Now, do you feel like I guess this is what back to my point where I was like, I feel like I could talk about whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously if I present it on Button Check, it has to be in a Button Check style. If I'm on a podcast doing it, obviously it's going to be a different style. But I come from the stand-up comedy background, so I always feel like I should be able to joke or whatever I want. If I'm showing it respect in a way, obviously there's always going to be somebody out there saying, too soon, you should never joke about that, fuck you. You know, you're always going to get that type of shit. But I come from the background of like, kind of like, I'm going to talk about whatever I want. And I promise you, I'll try to be tasteful. but I'm going to do it, if I feel like if that's what I want to do. So I never react well. And I told Mike this too as well. Like, I don't react well if I feel like people are telling me how to be me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should have did this. You should have did that. Why didn't you do it this way? And I'm like, well, because I'm me. I didn't do it. Yeah, granted, I could do better, but I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Then it turns into the discussion of shoulda, coulda, woulda. And I just can be who I am. And for Ernesto, drops the ball all the time, baby. Ask my wife. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, all I can give you is me at the end of the day. So to your point of, maybe you shouldn't talk about certain things, or if you should talk about them in this manner, it's like, I agree to an extent, but I also believe that I can only give you me at the end of the day. Like, I'm going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to get too personal or nothing like that.
Yeah, I hear all of that. And I think you should be able to speak about whatever you want, however you want. But with that, you have to accept people are going to react however they want as well.
Yeah.
And like true. when I do my videos, if you notice, I don't ask people to subscribe. I don't ask people to like the video. I just put my opinion out there because I know my opinions are really strong, and they can rub people the wrong way, and I can sometimes sound more aggressive than what I mean. So my mindset is that when I put a video out, I'm about to lose 100 subscribers because I'm going to say something to piss people off. But I've already made that peace. Like, on my channel, I'm not looking at my subscribers like that because I already know that I do opinion pieces, and opinions piss people off all the time. So yeah, I've done opinion pieces before. I've woken up in the morning, 50 subscribers are gone. I'm like, that's fine. Yeah. Like, I don't want a subscriber base that wants to hear the things that make them feel good. If you're subscribed to my channel, you're here for a conversation. And if you're not okay with the conversation, then I've got no ill will. I've had people come back and say, oh, I'm resubscribed. I unsubscribed like a few months ago because you said something I don't like. And I was like, well, are you sure you want to resubscribe? Because I'm probably going to say something else you don't like in the next couple of days. That's my mentality. So yeah, I'll wake up every morning, I'll see something, and I'll be like, I want to talk about this today. And I've had opportunities to be sponsored before, and I've chosen to continue making the content that I enjoy making because I know I've had a sponsor tell me once, you can't be talking about those things if you're going to be doing a sponsored read on your live stream. And I was like, well, then you can keep your product. Like, I'm not going to not speak about what I want. Obviously, if there's a big enough sponsor that came along and they wanted me to like not mention something, I would need to explain to them that there's no point in me getting sponsored by you if you've shown up on my channel because I've caught your attention somehow, but you want me to change my shit now.
Exactly.
And for money. That's how it is. That's why I still have my full-time job, because I know that my YouTube channel is a ticking time bomb. I know that because of the kind of content that I do, it probably won't always be there, or like people could like be like, oh, I don't want to listen to this shit anymore. But I'm just doing what I enjoy. So I'm not concerned with trying to please people. I'm just concerned with, like, my whole thing is, because I do community-based stuff, I like trying to represent people that don't really have a voice. And I've tried to do that with my podcast. And I know a lot of people in the FGC that are like more higher up really don't like it, because I've seen messages that maybe they're not aware of them saying things about me. And I've always said they can get on their bike and start pedaling. I don't care. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll look at a thing and I'll be like, this is disrespectful, I'm not going to post it, even though I want to talk about it. But other than that, other than like showing respect to people, I'm going to post my shit. If I lose subscribers over it, I lose subscribers. It is what it is.
Okay. I mean, that's respect at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're giving us you. Like, there's no other Mike Hollows out here. Ain't nobody with your persona and your look and your swag, like the way you come off, your accent. There's one, you know what I'm saying? And you stand out as an individual, not a cookie cutter. And I think that's why the people that click with you because they see you. Like you were saying earlier, like when you give people your content, you give them you for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're fake. Ultimately, though, I know you did mention like some things, but from here going forward, in a perfect world, like I hope just to move forward from here. You know what I'm saying? We're deeper in than I ever wanted to be, but I felt like talking to you was the right step. I honestly don't know if we ever talk to Rooflemonger again. I would like to talk to you.
Yeah, probably not.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But wait, Ernesto, before you, I know that you probably want to close it off soon because we've gone over an hour, but there's a couple of things that I want to address that Rooflemonger said. I thought a couple of them were really fucked up. and it was one of the reasons why I got really annoyed watching it. He said that one of the reasons why he wants to walk away from the situation is that he got worried that Clayton was either going to hurt himself or hurt him. Rooflemonger lives in Canada. Clayton lives in America, and Clayton, as we've already mentioned, has got a bunch of diseases that keep him bedridden. He has to sleep a lot. He's in and out of hospital. And Rooflemonger saying that was like almost a call to action to like basically tell people that Clayton's a danger. And Clayton's never exhibited any kind of like violent tendencies. I've never seen anywhere where Clayton's gone, let's go find Rooflemonger and hurt him. And when he said that, I did get annoyed because you guys didn't press him on it. And I was like, that's a crazy thing to say about somebody on the internet, because it makes everybody else watching going, oh shit, is he gonna like go and try to shoot up a place? Is he gonna find Rooflemonger's address? And he kind of got away with that one. I thought that was extremely slimy on his end.
Yeah, but from our point of view, like, how would we know, like, he's not telling his truth about that? Like, how would I know that he doesn't literally feel like that, as opposed to he's lying out of his ass right now? You know, like, what if he actually believes that? Like, I don't know that. I don't know that, like, 100%. I don't know how Rooflemonger perceives Clayton, you know, after all these years, you know?
Yeah, but like, it's like me saying, like, you guys did this interview with me and I come off saying I actually felt threatened. It would be fair for someone to go, why? Why did you feel threatened? Or like, is there anything you can point to that would make you feel threatened? Is there a receipt? Right. Is there a particular action over time that Clayton showed or demonstrated that made you feel like he's going to fly over to Canada to beat you up? There was, he just said it. And I was like, that's such a crazy thing to say about something. That's like if he turned around now and started saying, Mike's made all these videos about me, I'm scared for my health. I'd be like, yeah. I'd expect people to go, why? You can talk about it if you want. It doesn't mean he's going to beat you up.
Right. No, I get it. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. So
I will kind of speak with, there are certain, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
So, I'm sorry. Yeah, there was certain, I mean, the interview, so he did obviously express that, what you just said. And yeah, there was a lot of it that we were just like we're talking to you, you know, there was a lot of it where we're like, okay. Like next, like, okay. And then something obviously would stick out. So yeah, granted, that's a good point. A lot of things did just kind of breeze by and we were just like, okay, this is how this guy feels. And we'll kind of go deeper, right? And then we would kind of find pockets where we really dove into. To your point, I get it. You're watching it thinking like, what the fuck? Like, how did he do this to you? Why would you say that? Like, this guy is like the opposite of everything you just said. So for you to say that right now, you're going to kind of leave viewers to think that he's just completely unhinged. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get what you're saying to that point. At the time, I don't think either of us were thinking that, but I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Dirrty Lo?
I mean, he did mention, you know, right before that there's certain things that he did not want to talk about, and it had to do with his personal safety. So there wasn't some context there. So it's not anything we can speak on. It's what Rooflemonger's think. So obviously there's no receipts and verifying. But if he was feeling that, I can see what he's saying is just based on him expressing, hey, there's just certain things you guys don't know about that I don't want to talk about, that I can't talk about.
Yeah, he did say that before.
And that's all we can defer from that. That's all we can say regarding that.
Don't you think that's slimy as well, though? Because if he's not going to tell the audience what it is, why even bring it up on the podcast? Because if he spoke to you guys in private, I can understand that. You can have private conversations. Okay. No one can tell you otherwise. But he brought it up on the podcast to make it sound even worse and then go, but I can't talk about it. Why'd you open your mouth? Okay.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Like,
that's true. And it could be the case where if it is true and traumatic, if it is true, again, if something is true that happens where it's at the point where it's traumatic, would you necessarily want to constantly be talking about it? You know, not everyone wants to bring their trauma back out if it happens. Again, I don't know anything about it, but if it's something where he's like, I'm worried about my physical well-being, something to the point where I'm debating my safety, it could be something potentially traumatic, something you might not want to talk about constantly.
But he clearly he wanted to use it as a way to emotionally manipulate the audience, because if he spoke to you guys in private and said, I feel unsafe about these particular things, so I don't want to talk about it on the podcast, that's fine. That's one thing. But he came on the podcast and said, oh, and you guys know about some bad things I want to talk about. But if you don't want to talk about
Right.
them, why did you just mention it? You've just basically signaled to everybody watching that there's something much more serious that's going on, but we can't know. Now we have to speculate that maybe Clayton is even more dangerous than we thought. It's an emotional manipulation tactic. I've dealt with clowns like Rooflemonger before in a professional sense. I've seen people behave like that to try and get you on their side. And when he did that, I was like, if someone did that in front of me after we've just spoken in private, I'd say to them, if you do that again, I am going to tell people what you said to me off camera, because all you've done now is you've put Clayton in hot water or other people, but no one knows. Now we got to speculate. That's super fucked up.
Yeah, I also agree. Like,
if
you're going to say, I don't feel comfortable about this thing, then you shouldn't do the breadcrumbs, because now people just use their mind to assume what's going on. I used to have a friend that did that all the time to me. So it was very annoying when she would kind of pull me in just to like, I don't want to talk about it. And I'm like, well, then why the fuck did you pull me in? You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying there. Like, it does make sense to be like, why would you say this during the interview if you were truly protective of this? Because now people are just going to speculate and they could think anything they want. So I get that. Overall, I think we could all agree that the interview and how he spoke, it could have been done a lot different. And I don't know if it would have been like, I don't know if like, I think he gave us what he gave us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's Rooflemonger. Like,
I think that interview would have gone a lot differently if I was sitting there, because he wouldn't have been able to lie. He lied about. He said so many things. Even I can't stress enough how bad it is about the cancer thing. For 10 years, he's been saying Clayton's got a mental illness. He doesn't have all these sicknesses. To then just turn around and go, yeah, he's probably got cancer. Sorry about that. Like, if that was you two, if either one of you had cancer and somebody was lying about you, God forbid, and then they said, yeah, sorry about that, but if you don't accept my apology, then whatever. But that's what he did. And I was like, wait a second. Even my girlfriend was watching that. She was like, this idiot just admitted to 10 years of lying about someone's sickness and then just glazed over it and said, he's not looking for an apology, though. Why would he want you can't just apologize and move on from that. You've got to make amends. You've told a whole scene that this guy's lying about his illnesses, to just turn around 10 years later and go, yeah, I got that wrong. So what happened to the people that came to you in private and said that Clayton has that Munchausen disease or whatever it's called, that severe mental health issue? Who are those people? Again, we have no names, no receipts, no dates, no time frame whatsoever. These people magically now don't exist. And 3 days ago, he's telling people that Clayton has mental health issues. Now he's saying that he does have cancer. So what happened in those 3 days? That's what I'm confused about here. There's a very, very clear, deliberate attempt at being malicious here. And because he's a big content creator, and right now he's gotten away with one, he thinks that he's untouchable. But all empires fall. Rooflemonger, unfortunately, he's put his foot in his mouth enough times where this is one day going to come back to bite him.
So do you think, I mean, right now we're all kind of agreeing that apology doesn't fly, right? Like, we all,
it's a bullshit apology.
Every one of us could say that, right? He did the interview and he gave us Rooflemonger, right? In his eyes, he spoke his truth, and in his eyes, he did apologize for some things, but we all know when it came to that Clayton subject, he clearly doesn't like the guy, right? That was clear, evident. So what I'm trying to say is, knowing that and seeing the way he chose to apologize, do you still really think like that video did him good? Or do you think that like people saw through it?
No, that video, in my opinion, was a disaster for him. But I think it was also the original. Are you talking about the original one or the one you did yesterday?
His interview, the one yesterday.
The one you did yesterday was a disaster for him, because anybody with 2 brain cells would have seen through what he was doing. He was being extremely manipulative, very dismissive. Like, at the beginning of this interview, you guys said to me, how does he like feel about it? Like, do you think it just goes over his head? And it does. Like, he doesn't have any regard for human life whatsoever. He has continuously used human life as a form of manipulation, and then he has glazed over someone that is being sick. So I think he did himself no favors I think the unfortunate reality is that not enough people will see it to make a difference. I think it needs more attention on it for there to be some real change, because he sat there and he said, oh, Sega knows about it. Me and Clayton, me and Rufo know different people in Sega. Sega's a big company. So there were probably people in Sega that he's got good favor with. I've got good favor with some people that work at Sega. And I can tell you that there were some people that saw it and they went, what the fuck? Now, I don't know if those people can like actually make any change, but there were people at Sega, at Square Enix and other companies that I know that saw it and said, that was fucking foul, what he did. And I've had those conversations with those people. Whether those people can do anything, I don't know. I don't know if anything's going to be done of it. But even yesterday in my stream, when we were talking about it, there was a former Sega employee in there going, this is disgusting. Like, so they're fully aware, and there's probably different people in the companies that have different takes on it.
Yeah.
He probably isn't going to face any ramifications for now, because he is still the biggest Virtua Fighter streamer or like content creator. But again, every dog has their day. He's not untouchable. He will have to pay for what he's done at some point.
Okay. Now, I know I heard this a few times. I've heard it from Clayton. I heard it from you. Disregard for human life is a pretty extreme thing to say, just like saying you're faking cancer. That's like saying he won't save someone in front of him. That's a really hard thing to do. How can you say that personally based on when he's just saying all this stuff online? Granted, this is horrible stuff to say. But complete disregard for human life, I think, might be a little extreme, buddy. What do you think?
No, I don't think it's extreme. I think if you have regard for
complete
human
disregard,
life,
complete like, oh, you don't think Rooflemonger would save a kid who's about to get hit by a car, someone drowning right in front of him, that he would just shoot someone in cold blood, no regard whatsoever, just take a loved one, throw him in the street.
That's not what it means.
I mean, that's what it seems like. Complete disregard for human life means you don't care. Like, right? Like, explain it then.
That's not what it means.
Because it seems extreme. It seems extreme to a general audience. No regard for human life. You don't care about anything, no human life whatsoever.
That's not what
not
it
your
means.
family members, not your dog.
It means that there are, if you don't like particular individuals, you will disregard their humanity and you'll disregard their situations. Obviously, if it's your dog or your mum, that's an emotional attachment that you have to these people. But people in general that might tread on your toes and say things about you, if you had like an absolute regard for people, you wouldn't do what you did to Clayton. You would cuss Clayton out. You would say you're narcissistic, you're annoying, you're egotistical, but you wouldn't do that to them with regards to their life. Not shooting somebody or saving somebody does not mean that somebody still doesn't have a disregard for human life. It's how you act with. You get to see someone's true colors when they're confronted with like people they don't like or situations that make them uncomfortable. And just because you might like pull a dog out of the way of traffic does not mean that you won't also in the same breath completely disregard someone's life just because you don't like them. And that is what Rooflemonger's done.
Yeah, I guess there's different levels. I mean, I think what Dirrty Lo is talking about like, is pretty extreme. But
it seems extreme when you say it. You look it up online. It's depraved indifference to human life. Depraved indifference to human life.
Well, isn't that
that
what
doesn't
he's done?
seem like depravity where it's constant and things like that. So I just it's extreme. But
I think
what he said is extreme also too. It's just I can't see a complete disregard for life.
Yeah.
Maybe disregard to his life, but all human life is a stretch.
I didn't say all human life.
You said human life, so it counts for humans.
I think you said a disregard for human life, right?
Yeah, but I didn't say
disregard
all
for human
beings.
Human.
Oh, okay. So I guess you were meaning it in this. I think he was mentioning it.
Like it's like if that claim is, I'm not saying that he's a psychopath that is out here just like wishing death on people, like being crazy. I'm saying that people that do those things generally don't have a regard for like what someone's going through and how it affects their life.
Empathy. So just complete disregard of any form of empathy for this human.
Yeah, I think if like even me, for example, I'd be willing to bet if I was in a tough situation and he hadn't been outed like this, he'd probably make fun of me as well. And he'd probably peddle the idea that I'm lying about my situation, because that's the kind of scumbag he is. You don't do that to people. Like if I have a falling out with somebody, and I've had falling outs with content creators before, if they ever went, as a matter of fact, a good example is Tweedy. Do you guys know Tweedy, the Mortal Kombat streamer? He was going through some shit, and me and Tweedy we don't get along at all. He said some stuff about me, I said some stuff about him, but he posted up a video basically saying that he's like on the edge, like he's right on the edge of like.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I sent him a donation. I said to him, I really hope that you don't do this, and I hope you get into the gym and sort your weight out and that. I don't like Tweedy. I don't like him. I don't like what he said to me. But I messaged him privately and I said to him, I really hope that you sort this out, because I have a general regard for human life. I don't look at my enemies or look at people that have wronged me and gone, hey, you wronged me, fuck you. Like, you're going through this shit, deal with it. I saw that. I felt genuinely upset because I have a general regard for human life. I don't think Rooflemonger has that. I think if you wrong him, he'll just be like, so? Or he'll still tell lies like he's done about Clayton.
I mean, and to Mike's point, there are people out there like that. I've met them. You know what I'm saying? I can't go on record and say like, yes, for certain that's Rooflemonger, but I do know there's people like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I've experienced that. So was there any, as we're kind of getting to the end here, was there any other points that you were looking to cover?
Yeah, there was a few other things, not many.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, we've covered most of them. He made a lot of like ridiculous claims about people coming and giving him information, even though we haven't seen anything. He said that he offered an olive branch to Clayton, but if you notice that when he said that, he didn't actually say anything. Like you guys asked him the question, he said, "Yeah, I offered an olive branch." Where? What did you say?
He said it was in some random forum. It seemed like he couldn't remember. He was like, "It's some random forum. I did it, and nothing came of it."
Yeah, of course. Like, he never seems to know where it is. He never seems to know the date. He never seems to know the time. We don't know what forums these olive branches were extended on. He never has anything concrete. These are the signs of a pathological liar. He's just continuously lying. I actually think that he's just making stuff up in his head, and he doesn't even realize that he's doing it. There's nothing to point to. This whole history that these two have got, there's only one side that has anything to present on the situation. And the other side just uses his base and his influence to push someone down. Doesn't that look a little bit fishy to you guys?
I mean, it doesn't look great. Like when I look at the situation, from his point of view, his mindset, I don't care. Though his attitude is like, so I could see where he would come off nonchalant in an interview, be like, it doesn't matter to me. So receipts might show a different story, things like that. The biggest thing about the situation with me, which I struggle with, because I believe Clayton about these things, obviously, about his health. Don't want to see a man sick. He's got great hair. I mean, come on. He does. He has great hair, man. I'm jealous. Look at this. It's just so hardcore with it. And I get why. There's a lot of videos. Yeah. He is controversial. He's said controversial things too. He said controversial things back to Rooflemonger. There's messages about it. So it's hard sometimes to look at that and not, again, you brought it up, think like, hey, this guy's unhinged. That's my biggest struggle with it. Is I see a lot, and that's why I asked, does Clayton, the way Clayton approaching this, stopping this story, because it really does have me look at both sides and be like, well, yeah, of course Rooflemonger's wrong. This isn't great either. What would you speak to that? Like on, hey, Clayton stuff, some of that isn't great.
I think you kind of did mention.
Yeah, I think people should have the wherewithal to be able to decipher what is going on if they really care about the situation at all. Like I can look at Clayton and be like, yeah, don't talk about that and stop saying that. But also, this is far worse, and that's where energy should be spent. I don't think it's hard for people to really differentiate the two. I just think people like chaos. Rooflemonger sat on this podcast and he said, these people love drama. We've been telling this guy to say sorry and make amends, and this can just go away. He doesn't want to, though. For someone that claims that he wants to get Clayton off his back, he's not doing a very good job of it. Well, I've been through my own fair share of controversies, and when I've done something wrong, I've said sorry. And I've reached out to who I've wronged, and I've said, how can I make amends to you? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to donate to your stream? Do you want me to donate to a particular charity? Do you want me to say something publicly on your behalf? He's not tried to do anything. He doesn't want Clayton off his back. I don't know if he gets some sort of weird kick out of this, but it's very easy for two men to sit down, even when it's online, and hash out their differences. And he actively chose to go the route of not having the people here that he doesn't get along with. So unfortunately, this situation probably won't die down. It'll probably die down on my end because I don't want to keep on beating a dead horse. I know what kind of man Rooflemonger is, and I use the word man very loosely in his sense. I know that he's not going to admit to things and be honest about things and actually make amends. I know that he will continue to say things to people about Clayton in passing, and it's going to continue driving Clayton mad. And Clayton's probably not going to take his foot off the gas. So there's only so much that I can do to really help the situation. The one thing to remember, though, is that, like you said, Rooflemonger has never apologized for anything. And that really speaks to the kind of person he is. He's never publicly addressed any of this. This is also something I wanted to bring up. He told a lie to you guys. I don't know why he did, because it's so easy to fact check it. He said that he lost subscribers because of the video you guys put up. If you go and look at Social Blade, he lost subscribers hours after I put my video up. He lost 1,000 subscribers. Now, I know why he did that. He doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that the hit came from me. But he sat there and he acted like, oh, nothing's happened. Like, you guys didn't know that he had deleted hundreds of comments on his YouTube videos. And I had receipts of them. I put some of them in my latest upload. Hundreds of comments. He's curating the situation to make it look like it's not a big deal. But people were over there saying to him that we're disappointed in you. He tried to say, oh, people were insulting my dead father. I didn't see none of that. None of that. And he didn't screenshot it either. Conveniently, yet again, no receipts whatsoever. I went over there and I looked at the comments and they were like, I'm unsubscribed and I'm disappointed in you. I can't believe you would do that. Are you going to respond to Mike? Are you going to say sorry to Clayton? And then he came on here and said, yeah, I lost a couple of subscribers because you guys uploaded that video. When you go on Social Blade, it says June 9th. My video came out June 8th. Your upload is June 14th. So I don't know why he would lie about that. It's little things like that where it's like, why are you lying about that when it's so easily fact checkable? If you're lying about that, what else are you lying about?
I mean, that's fair to say. Like even me, I don't really notice. The only reason why I noticed is because today I just randomly checked what my exact number was, and I started refreshing, and I noticed it was dropping. And I was like, wait, what the fuck's happening? I was like, oh, those videos today. But it was like 40-ish or whatever. But usually I don't pay attention. If you lose 1,000 subscribers, that is very noticeable. I don't care how many fucking subscribers you have, you know what I'm saying? Because as content creators, we're very analytical. We're very, like, we watch a lot. We're all data, you know what I'm saying? So it's like post times, demographics, everything, you know what I'm saying? So we're pretty familiar with our numbers. I would imagine Rooflemonger is the same way. And if you lose 1,000, that's pretty big, you know, even if you're a big content creator, because that says something. That says you piss somebody off. You know what I'm saying? You piss somebody off and people are now unhappy. So I don't know to that point as far as like why he would say we were the cause of that versus why you were the cause. I mean, I know what you just said, but it does seem odd for him to phrase it
he
that
doesn't
way.
want to admit, because he calls me a grifter. He doesn't know what the word means. And I think that's another thing. I think he didn't want to be on this podcast to me because I could already tell he's not the brightest person. And it'd be very easy for me to just pick apart what he's saying. But he calls me a grifter. And then he doesn't acknowledge where it comes from. Rooflemonger has not really been called out by anybody other than Clayton. There's been a couple smaller voices that have tried to call him out, but they gained no traction. This was the first time that Rooflemonger was forced to start addressing things. And he came over here to address it. He didn't want to do it directly with me. But if you look through YouTube, the call-outs that Rooflemonger has had, because he said that he's had to deal with something worse than this. I don't know what's worse, backlash-wise, than people saying, hey, you lied about someone's cancer. So if he did do something worse, that is even more concerning. But he has never had to come out of his like little cave where he's saying things to people and confront it. And the first time he had to do that was because I called him out on the video, and he couldn't just acknowledge it like a man and have the conversation with us. Instead, he wants to like run and hide. And I can't respect that. I'm not going to continue to beat a dead horse. I feel like I've done as much as I can in like terms of getting the message out there for people to see what he's done to Clayton. And I told Clayton, I'm not trying to use this to milk it on my channel. Like that's not my goal here. My goal here was for people to understand that you've been done wrong by this guy. Now, because Rooflemonger has admitted that he lied about Clayton's cancer, if I was Clayton, I would now go down the defamation suit or go down some sort of legal route for what he's done to him. Because I think that this has probably caused some level of mental strain to Clayton. It's probably caused some level of financial strain because of it as well, and he could probably prove that. So I would go down that route for him now, because now there's nothing really left to say. Everyone knows that Roof was lied, and he's continuing to lie about these things. He was lying up until yesterday about it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. If it's really that traumatic on him, there's only so much you can do on social media. You have to take action offline as well. What were you going to say, Rick?
Just before you go, Rick, just before you say something, I think people need to remember as well is that taking things down the legal route is extremely costly, and Clayton's medical bills are extremely costly. Like, he showed me the shit that he has to pay just to like basically breathe, and I was like, and also Rooflemongers in Canada, so it's a bigger expense to take somebody into the legal route that is across the border. So people are like, why doesn't he sue for defamation? It's not as easy as just being like, I'm going to sue you. You got to have money for that stuff, and you got to be in at least decent physical health. I know in America medical costs are high, so I would want him to go down that route. I don't know if it's realistic, but if he has the means to do it, now would be the time, because Rooflemonger's basically just giving him a golden ticket.
It is really hard to do. It really hard to do.
Okay. So I wanted to ask, I know you can't speak for Clayton, but for you personally, Mike, is there any room for forgiveness for Rooflemonger if take away the most recent apology? Let's say he came to you person to person, gave you an apology. Is there anything he could say for you to forgive him? You, Mike Hollow. I know you can't speak for Clayton.
In order for me to forgive Rooflemonger, he needs to apologize to Clayton, and he needs to offer some sort of amends. I don't care if Rooflemonger don't like me. People have called me a grifter before. Whenever I get them on to explain to me what they mean, they always trip over themselves. So I don't take offense to it anymore. I know that people just say that to get a rise out of you. But in order for me to forgive Rooflemonger, and to be honest, my forgiveness is kind of irrelevant in this. But if I was, he needs to say sorry to Clayton. He needs to make amends in some way. I don't know how that is. And he needs to show that he's willing to move away from this and just get back to doing his basic Virtua Fighter guides, because no one's going to have a problem with him if he's doing that. Yeah. But he can't come and say sorry to me and I'm going to forgive him. He's lied about someone's health for over 10 years and then on a podcast just gone, yeah, I'm sorry, forgive me. Like, that's such bitch-made behavior. Like, it's actually, I was shocked that he even did that. So yeah, he needs to reach out to Clayton. I know they can't meet in person because of the distance and Clayton's health, but if he was willing to come on here, because he's not going to come on my podcast because he knows that me and him will probably start arguing. But if he came on here and you had Clayton here, and even if Clayton don't accept it, because Clayton doesn't have to at this point, it's gone on for so long that it's up to Clayton what he wants to do. But at least if Rooflemonger did that and he offered some sort of amends, I don't know what that would be, then I could be like, okay, cool, because we're supposed to, I'm Greek Orthodox, we're told to forgive. I would look to forgive, but it would all depend on his actions. His talk is cheap, right? He sat on the podcast, he said sorry, and then he insulted him. So I was like, well, the talk is cheap at that point. You've got to actually do something and prove that you understand what you've done is wrong. And then I could be like, okay, cool, we can let this go.
Yeah, okay. I feel you on that. Like, I know as far as I'm concerned, like, I want to be done with this. So I wanted to absolutely talk to you. And then once we do, obviously post this video, I imagine you're going to make a video as well. Clayton will probably make a video as well. But then I just want to be done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to walk away and go back to our content. And then we could be friends again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what happened on the other side, but I know for me, this has been the most stressed out that I've been in the last fucking year, I think, doing Button Check. I mean, besides personal life stuff, obviously, I had a lot of personal stuff. But content creator wise, man, I've been getting old school feelings of the old Button Check, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, fuck, I don't like this feeling. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Even talking with you, like, because I always considered you cool. So I was like, I don't like this feeling, man. I don't like it at all.
No, me and you are cool. Like, I ain't got no beef with you or Dirty Lo. Like I said to you in the voice note, whenever I have a problem with somebody, it's about the particular piece of media. It's not them as a person. If I had a problem with them as a person, I would have messaged them and been like, "Fuck you, bro." Blah blah blah. But obviously, like, I'm not like that. But I think the fair thing to do moving forward, because I'm not gonna make a video on this. Like, this video will be on your channel. People can come and watch it here. I think the fair thing to do is give Clayton an interview. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's at a 10 right now. He's probably gonna come on here and not be as cordial as me. But I think in the fairness of this situation, you guys should at least hear him out, and he'll probably calm down after a while. But you can imagine, right now he's furious about the situation.
Yeah. I gotta be transparent with you, man. Like, to me, you are Clayton's spokesperson. You are his champion. Clayton's story has been told bigger than ever because of you. You know, like, you did numbers on that channel that exceeded a lot of your normal videos. Hell, it's on here now. And hell, it brought Rooflemonger here. You know what I'm saying? Because without any of that chain reaction, without you, none of this domino effect would have ever happened. So the way I looked at it was, you, obviously you're not the man, but if anybody knows what's going on, it's you. You know, if anybody was speaking up for him, it's you. And I know originally that was the plan, to have him on here, but, you know, obviously some timing and him needing his rest and stuff like that, he couldn't make it. The way I'm looking at it now is like, I don't want to do any more interviews. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted you to be his voice, and then maybe in the future something, but I feel like if he comes on 2 days from now or a week from now, it's just going to go and go. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I'm looking at it. And I don't want it to go anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't. I feel like your voice on here, and the fact that we're almost been on here for 2 hours, I feel like you've done a great job. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't hold anything back. Matter of fact, you told me before the interview, I don't even want to do the interview if I'm going to be censored. You told me that. You were like, "Hey, bro, I'm going to be real with you. I don't want to be censored. Like, let's do it that way." So I was like, respect, right? So that's how I'm looking at it. Like, from Ernesto Lopez side of things, I've been feeling super uncomfortable in the last couple of days. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to stop, man.
I think there's one thing that I think you guys are not considering, though, is I don't think people will let you walk away from this if you don't interview Clayton. I think like, obviously you don't have to. It's your channel. I would never come on here and tell people you got to do this. But I think you have to consider that Clayton's situation has gone on for so long. People are like super emotionally invested in this. And he is the guy, right? Even though I've spoken up for him and I shed light on it, it's still him. He's still the one dealing with the sicknesses.
If I really thought that, I wouldn't have done this interview today, because I was like, I'm not doing this shit twice. I'm swear to God, like, I wouldn't have been like, all right, well, let's wait for Clayton, because I'm not doing this twice. This takes so much out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing it twice. So for you to say, like, well, people are not letting you walk away, my response as a man is like, I don't care what people want to let me walk away from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't help what you don't want to let me walk away from. Like, I promise you, even if I do the Clayton interview, like a whenever, you know, we can, there's still gonna be people out there like, fuck this guy. He didn't ask the right questions, or yada, yada, yada. I can never please everybody. This is me trying. Like, I'm legit trying here. You know, I'm in a situation that I didn't know I would be in 2 days ago. And I'm like, all right, make it fair. You know what I'm saying? Here goes Mike. And yeah, if Clayton would have jumped on today, great. But because
I hear it, but
you know what I'm saying?
All I'm saying is that it's gonna look, it's not gonna look good. That's all I'm saying. I know that, but I know it's your channel, and I'm not telling anybody how to do anything. It's just because I've been doing the podcast thing for a while. When these sort of things happen, like I did this thing with, like, I don't know if you know this game called Dragon Ball Dokkan. It's like a mobile Dragon Ball game. There was this big controversy that happened in that scene, and I represented one side of it. And I didn't know the other side. The other side caught wind of my podcast in the last 10 minutes, and it was already 7 hours long. And I was like, this was a lot to, like, get through. Yeah. But they caught the end of it, and they were like, there's no way that you had those guys on and we can't say something. So I was like, okay, cool. I have to let these guys speak. I've got to do a part 2. I think what's going to happen is, if Clayton doesn't get his say in this situation, because he's the victim of this particular story, I think I think it's going to be a situation that follows you guys around. And obviously, I don't want that. If you guys don't care, that's all good. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's not going to have that little tie on it that rounds it all off. It's always going to be, we never got to hear from Clayton, though.
Yeah, but from my point of view, it's like, you are the other guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, in your story, you were like, I know you're not going to talk to the other guys. That's why I'm talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if Clayton would have jumped on today, it would have been all four of us. But he didn't, you know, and I get it. Don't get me wrong. But I was thinking, all right, I even told Rick, like, let's go, man. Now we get to wrap this up. I literally said that. We get to wrap this up. Like, let's talk to Mike. And that is me trying. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is me, like, putting the bow on it, because like I said, you know the most and you're championing him. So I'm like, all right, here's his story. Here's his story. There we have it. You know, for me, the only reason interview is like, okay, now we got 2 versus 1 interviews. So now it feels like it's kind of imbalanced in a way.
Well, I mean, the only reason that Clayton's not here is, again, he's DM'd me and said he wasn't fit to sit here. He's even like, when he's come on my podcast before, he's literally turned the camera off and been like, I have to go lie down because of, you know, what he's going through. So he would have been here if he could. But in terms of like the 2v1 thing, Rooflemonger has levied an entire community against Clayton for years. So I think 2 people speaking against him is not a big deal, to be honest. That's just from my perspective.
No, I get that. I get that logic.
It's hard not to argue against that.
No, I get that logic. But for me, like, it's like, that's not my battle like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been put in it now and I'm trying. So it's like, I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? To me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was even thinking while you were talking, and I was like, okay, is there another angle to this? Like, is there no way I can handle this? Like, maybe I can go on Mike's channel when Clayton's on there one day or something like that. Like, I don't know. But to extend it further is something I don't feel good about. You know what I'm saying? Especially knowing that Clayton feels a certain way about me. And because of that, I feel a certain way about him. And I don't like that feeling either, because I don't know the guy. My first introduction to him was him hating me. So that's why I was like, yo, like, are we doing this for real, man? Like, this is how we're starting this whole thing. And now he's obviously heated and he has his reasons. It's not setting up a good formula for me right now. You know what I'm saying? It makes my, like, a lack of a better term, my anxiety kick in, and I'm like, bro, I just want to get back to fucking making my content, bro. Like, I'm trying my best to put a bow on this, like you said. But I was really hoping that this was it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, today's the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna give the people what I'm gonna get, because a lot of comments said, in fairness, you got to have Mike, or you got to have Clayton, or you got to have both, because you got to give that side a chance, right? And I would comment to some of them like, you're right. Or I hearted those comments, because that was always my intention. So doing it now, that was my way of showing that respect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the only thing is that even though, like, I've championed Clayton and I've helped get his story out there, he still knows way more about his situation than I do. And he's obviously got so many receipts. There's only so many I could show in videos, but there's still things I haven't read over that have Rooflemonger involved in it, and other people. And like I said, if you don't want to have him on here because you want to move on from it, then that's your prerogative. But all I'm saying is that because it's a 3-part story, not having Clayton here, who's the main victim, you guys have just opened this channel. I imagine you probably just want to move away from this. And if Clayton doesn't get his say, there's always going to be those comments there, and you're probably going to get sick of reading them going, why haven't you interviewed Clayton? And Clayton is probably going to be like, I didn't get my interview. And then that's going to be a thing where you're going to get videos from Clayton saying, I didn't get my interview. So, and he wants to be here. He really did, but he's just not well enough to do it today.
Yeah. It really is an unfortunate situation, man. Like, this whole thing is fuck. I was telling my wife before this, like, fuck, all day, man. All day I've had, like, anxiety about this. And that's not the way I do content. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, I don't like this feeling. I don't. Like, I get it. We're all going through our own stuff, you know, especially Clayton. But this was my plan the whole time, is like, we're going to give the other side a chance to speak, you know, and I could be done with it. You know, that's why I kept saying I could be done with it. So I want to present this video to everybody, that way they can get all the knowledge, and then literally move on. I know there's always going to be a group of people that are not going to rock with me. I know it, like 100%. Clayton already doesn't like me. I know it 100%. He's going to continue to feel like his voice is unheard, or he's going to continue that Rooflemonger doesn't like him. I don't know if they're ever going to make up. I really don't. You know what I'm saying?
They probably never
They're
will.
probably
I
not.
can't imagine.
Like, if we're going to be real,
Yeah.
it's probably not going to happen. Like, perfect world, they do, but let's be real. So I don't, once again, going back to the way I feel as a content creator, as a man, like, I don't like to feel pressured that I have to do something. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to feel pressured by a viewer or a fellow content creator or a FGC player or whatever, that, well, you have to do this, because if you don't, such and such and such penalty. You know what I'm saying? And then I feel like, okay, I'm doing this now. And then I start feeling like, well, but I did, or I tried to. You know what I'm saying? Like, my intentions are good, but if I don't go exactly the route that you say, now I'm a bad guy, and I fucking hate that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, to anytime I've experienced this in the last 8 years, and I always feel there's just never. We're dealing with the social media, right? We're dealing with the internet, and it doesn't end, man. It's a fucking sea of people that just come and go to judge you and crucify you or to love you. So I just feel like, why do I don't like to feel like I have to bow to that if I am trying as a decent person. If I wasn't, if I was closed-minded and like, well, fuck that, I only want one side of the story, then I get that 100%, right?
I think I see it a little bit differently. I think I think because people, at least, like, I know people wait to hear from you, and they're going to be waiting to hear from Dirrty Lo now because of this channel, and they wait to hear from me. I do feel some level of obligation, depending on the story, to oblige what my subscribers are saying. So, like, if I'm covering a story and it's a murky story and it's got several parts to it, I feel obliged to, like, finish the story regardless of how I feel about it, because these people, like, they super chat to me, they spend their time on me, which is, like, the most precious thing we have. So in that instance, I put my personal feelings aside, and I'm like, okay, cool, what's the best course of action here for this particular thing? Because at the end of the day, we all cover, like, news in different avenues. I guess the news that I cover is a little bit more, it's a little bit more spicy, I guess, like this situation. You cover, like, the esports stuff and, like, all the Street Fighter stuff, which is sick, because I would never know anything about Street Fighter if I didn't watch your channel. But I think when a story starts, I think you got to consider the people that support you and what they're saying. And I try to look past the people that say crazy things, like when people get disrespectful, because that's, like, low hanging fruit. If I use that as a metric to think about how I'm going to move forward, then I'm just sort of, like, scapegoating the situation. I look at what, like, people are saying generally, and then I'm like, okay, cool, this needs a part 2 or a part 3. We'll put a bow on it. That will live there in this playlist forever. You can go and reference it and we can move on. But if it was me personally, because I've done this before, even if I didn't want to, I'd probably still do it, just for the sake of ending the situation in the best way. Because it's not, I don't think it's about ending it to make us feel better. I think it's ending it for the sake of the situation, because we're part of a community, and this thing has been affecting our community for a while, right? No one wants to hear about someone putting someone down for cancer and this fight constantly going on. The only thing I ever hear from people is, why can't we just get back to playing games? But we can't really get back to playing games if we don't handle our shit. And I think it was unfortunate. Obviously, you and Dirty Lo didn't know. You didn't know that this situation was as sensitive as it is. But we're here now. And I think personally, the best course of action, I don't think you should feel pressure. I don't think that's the right way to look at it. I think it should just be, we're here. This needs to end, not because I feel a certain type of way, but because the situation deserves a natural conclusion. That's just how I look at my podcast.
Right. I get that.
Fair enough.
I get that. I think it's just I think we're saying the same thing, but we have two different opinions on how we're going about ending. Where it's going to end,
Where it's going to end.
And I hate that this podcast is basically, or this episode is kind of ending on that note, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we agreed on so much throughout this whole thing. And last thing I want is for anybody to be like, oh, here he goes again. Now he's not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like some bullshit. But then again, I don't respond well to that either. So it's like it's obviously something to consider. I can't lie to you. I can't just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I literally just said, I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I did it here. And I know Clayton coming on will show more receipts and he'll do all this other stuff. But all in all, I think you've been painting the picture of how you feel about Rooflemonger, what he's done. And Clayton's been on your channel, obviously, and he makes his own videos. I think it's going to come down to the same thing at the end of the day. He's going to say the same thing about Rooflemonger, you know, that he's a liar, he's a manipulator, he's a, you know, yada, 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 yada. And it's going to echo what you said, you know what I'm saying? And I get what you're saying, like, he's the last piece, you know what I'm saying? So I get that reference. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
In mine, it's just like, it's so daunting because I never wanted to be here. Like, so fucking daunting. So it's something to consider. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to lie to you and say that I'm going to do it, but I'll consider it just because you mentioned it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I guess the last thing that I really want to say is that like Rooflemonger still has an opportunity to fix this situation. He still has an opportunity to fix. There's always an opportunity to try and make amends. He doesn't need to apologize to me because our thing is over video games, and I already know that I can respectfully make him look stupid for what he said about me. But what he's done to Clayton is despicable. He should make amends for that, and then we can all move forward. Because unfortunately, this situation will probably die down now after all of this, but it will come back. It's going to come back because it's not been solved. There's not been an end to this for several reasons. So it's going to come back. Him saying that he wants Clayton off his back is kind of ridiculous. It just tells me that he doesn't go outside. He doesn't interact with people. He doesn't understand how human interaction really works. He's on Twitter too much. You know, he said he unwinds by insulting people on Twitter. So if he really wanted to have a conclusion, he would have had Clayton on here without me. I didn't need to be here. And said sorry and acknowledged some things. And maybe Clayton could have said, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have called you a Magikarp, or he called him like something like that or whatever. And then we could have moved on. But he didn't want that. He wanted to say his piece, make himself look good, you know, say a bunch of dumb shit that's easily proven to be false, and then go back to playing games. Because a lot of people claim to care about FGC, but they just care about FG. The C part is like, kind of care about it if we like you, but if we don't like you, then fuck you. And you've probably experienced that as well, Ernesto, where like you might have done something wrong, but you said sorry, but people are like, no, fuck you. And I'm like, I find that weird.
I'm experiencing it right now. Right fucking now, I'm experiencing that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Like, you know, it's crazy because in a weird way, me and you would never know each other. Like, why would we know each other? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You live all the way over here and I'm in Texas. Why would we know each other? But we're here talking, you know, and we're considering each other friends. And like, we're talking about this subject that don't really involve us. Like, we're just here because we're content creators. So it is crazy the way life works. You know what I'm saying? And we're in the same community. We got in it different ways. It's so weird. It's so weird at the end of the day. But we're here, you know what I'm saying? And we're doing this crazy thing. So all in all, for you and for anybody watching this video, I hope y'all got everything that you came for. I know everybody's not going to be satisfied. I know that at the end of the day, we can never satisfy everybody, you know what I'm saying? But this is me putting it out there. On the other channel, I've always put it out there. And on this channel, I told Rick, I want to do the same thing. I just want to do it in a different format. Mike seems to always put it out there. And he's always been really nice to me. Mike has always been very respectful to me. You know what I'm saying? So
very respectful.
I am glad that we were able to do this. And we were able to talk like men. This is how you do it, man. If you're watching this, y'all, everybody talking shit in the comments or yeah. Guess what? We're talking. Mike did 2 videos about this, right? And we did, what, is this the second or the third video, right? But guess what? Yeah. We're here talking like fucking men. You know what I'm saying? So everybody that was wishing a fight or this guy's bad, this guy's evil, the guys that you're talking about are sitting here right now talking face to face. Like fucking adults. You know what I'm saying? I think the FGC needs more of this. Like, why not? Like, this is how it should be. Yeah, we could gripe and disagree, but we could also fucking talk like men at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is good shit. This is good shit. Mike said a lot of good stuff. He said a lot of good stuff. So I respect him for coming on here and giving us.
I think that,
absolutely.
That message should go out to Rooflemonger. Rooflemonger, if you're watching, put your big boy pants on and start addressing men directly instead of talking behind a fucking monitor to other people that are. And you know what? I'm not going to end on a sour note. I was going to start cussing.
Gotcha. Yeah. You've been great, Mike. So I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to more Virtual Fighter content. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye out from you.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yes.
No problem. Appreciate it, brother.
Yes. And Mike, even though you're a nerd, like Rooflemonger said, I appreciate you being...
I know, I am a nerd. I did not appreciate being told to shut up.
We're all
by him,
nerds, bro.
It's fine. It's fine.
I appreciate it, man. You know I love to joke, but I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching, man. I'm going to do my best to have this video up. Well, I can't tell you guys, but within a day. It's late right now. What is it, Tuesday? It's HT, baby. So we celebrating on that other channel. But hopefully Wednesday. That's the plan. So either way, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Dirty. Thank you, Dirty. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Dirty Lo. I appreciate. You know what's funny? You know what's funny? I read a comment on Mike's video when he was responding to ours, right? And somebody said, "Well, his name is Dirty Lo. So what do you expect?" Somebody said, "Well, he is called Dirty Lo. What do you expect? What do you expect from a Dirty Lo?" You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I love
either
that.
way,
I love it.
Either way, I appreciate the love, man. Thank you. Please subscribe. The channel is just growing, and we hope to bring you more. Man. So as always, I don't know what it is, but I know somehow, some way, it's about to get better. Love y'all, forever. Peace.